A 23rd gray whale washed ashore on Washington coastline, marking the 6th death in our state just this month. Reports came in Monday from Olympic National Park by way of Cascadia Research Collective. The big question is this normal, or are we witnessing an unprecedented die-off? To break this down, we are joined by John Kalimbokitis, co-founder of Cascadia Research Collective, on the ground doing this work. Thanks for joining us here, John.
Yes, nice to talk to you.
All right, so to start, can you tell us more about this most recent gray whale death in particular? Where was it? Where was it discovered?
Yes, it was out on the Olympic coast, and we haven't been able to do a detailed exam on it yet, so we don't know too much about it. It kind of adds to one of the strandings we had closer to home in Bremerton area just a few days before that. So these have continued to occur since that kind of very rapid rate we were having in April. Fortunately, that rate has slowed a little bit. So the 6 you mentioned that have occurred in May contrasts with the 17 we had up until the end of April. So we're glad to see that rate slow. Typically, our strandings keep going through the month of May and all the way through June. Those are our 3 highest months. And so at least we're taking a little bit of heart that that pace has slowed down, and it has made it a little bit easier for our response team that's been very, very busy this season responding and examining these. And they're members of the Pacific Northwest Marine Mammal Stranding Network that actually do these exams.
Yeah, and for our viewers just joining us, not familiar with the work that you do, John, it's your teams that are out there on the ground doing these necropsies, trying to get the heart of what is happening here. So why do you believe these whale deaths are happening at this rate?
Well, all the indications are pointing to their food supply in the Arctic. And this is the time of year gray whales are migrating north past Washington state, headed for their primary feeding grounds in the Arctic. And they've usually gone a few months without feeding at this point, so it's a challenging time for them normally. But these seem to be increasing numbers of whales that didn't get enough to feed last year, that then don't seem to have enough of a reserve to make it back to their feeding grounds. And it's actually been seen from their breeding areas in Mexico on up the coast. There have actually been over 100 strandings along their range, and that's likely to continue. So we think it all boils down to a decrease in their food supply in the Arctic that's leading most of these whales to starve to death or face certain challenges and deaths that relate to them desperately searching for alternative areas to feed.
And do you think what we're seeing right now is a record number of deaths here in Washington?
Yes, the pace these have come with have been at a record level. We're not quite like 2019 was the largest number of strandings we had in the 50 years we've monitored this at 35. So we're at 23. We're not quite to that total, but that was a total for the entire year. Now with the pace slowing down a little bit, it might end up being close to that. We don't know if it'll fall above or below that, but we're definitely in that record territory. And what's more troubling is those 35 deaths that occurred in 2019 occurred when the population was estimated to be twice as large as we think it is now. So proportionally to the population, this number of deaths is even more worrisome.
A striking contrast there. John, thank you for your work and keeping us informed on this ongoing tragic story. Appreciate your time.
Yes, good to talk to you.